All right.
She's probably doing her research. I know Julia prepares for these.
All right, Natalie Hansen, how's it feel to be the national champion? Congratulations.
The national champion piece of it is less important to me. I was uncontested today, so I'm not super like excited that I have a national title, but it's that I'm I punched my ticket to go to Open Worlds again. It's been a few years since I've been able to compete at the world level, so I'm really excited to be headed there again.
And so just take us kind of through the day for you. I mean, I saw you, it seemed like you were pretty nervous before it started. And how did it feel to just get that first squat on the board?
It wasn't even, I was nervous the whole day. And it wasn't really that I was so nervous about my opening squat. Usually that's, for me, it's get my opening squat and then I can get this kind of, it feels like relief and I'm like, it's smooth sailing until then. But my nerves were so high today that I was like, I was kind of freaking out until I pulled my opening deadlift. And that's not usual for me. It's I've been doing this long enough that I don't feel that nervous typically, but today I was very nervous. So even my opening squat, I was like, okay, now I have to keep doing this.
So you said your goal wasn't really national champion since that was kind of a done deal.
Yeah.
But what were your goals for the day?
My first goal was to make weight. I've come down a weight class and I still walk around above the weight class and cut into it. I had to manipulate my body weight a little more than I wanted to this week. So I was basically cutting up until weighing in. I spit in a cup on my way to the weigh-ins and I still was, 75.8. So it was making weight was goal number one. These are the goals that I stated to myself weeks ago. Goal number two was not to bomb out. Goal number three then was to hit the Carpino 5, which was 580. And the numbers that I had kind of planned and based my training was going really well. So the numbers I had in mind would have kind of blown through that 580. And it would have been like ancient history by the time I was pulling my second deadlift, but it didn't shake out that way. So I had to pull my opening deadlift and didn't get to kind of have the fun that I wanted to. But yeah, that was making the team was the goal, and I was going to do whatever I needed to do to get there, but it wasn't quite as smooth and exciting as I wanted it to be. I was more just kind of grinding through the day.
Can you talk us through, since you're cutting weight, what does that look like as an equipped lifter that it may look a little different for raw? Because your equipment then changes how it feels, how it fits. How do you handle that?
I'm really fortunate that my husband, who is my main training partner, and he handled me today, he can sew. So most of the training cycle I can wear the same gear, and then as I start the last few weeks, as I start manipulating my weight more aggressively, I have to alter my equipment on it's bi-weekly basis to make sure it still fits. So for my squat suit and my bench shirt, we did a last minute kind of tighten up after I finished training in them. So there was fresh stitches on them that I hadn't really broken in. I heard some of them pop during during my lifts. So yeah, it's tricky. It's definitely an added variable that's not super desirable, but it's just kind of the nature of it at this point. Eventually I'll get to a point where I'm not cutting so much into the class, but I'm not quite there yet.
What are your goals for Worlds moving forward? Do you not want to share those goals?
No, it's not that I don't want to share. It's just that I want to win Worlds again, right? My last, I won in 2017 and 2018. I took second in 2019, and I want to be back at that level of lifting. I know that I'm capable of it. It's just a matter of kind of dialing in the details. So, based on my training total, it's there. I'm capable of it. But yeah, I have to figure out some of those details in the next 5 months.
So you mentioned that you were a little nervous and you had to cut a lot of weight. Do you think that affected in any way your third squat and deadlift?
My third squat I can't say that it was weight related. I think I wanted a little more pop out of the bottom with the suit and wraps, and so I tried to speed up my tempo into the hole and just lost balance. It was just sloppy execution. I should have stood up with that. I jokingly said, "Can I get a mulligan?" afterward, because I knew that I had just screwed it up. My last deadlift, was that the other one you asked?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also just did something stupid on my last deadlift and tightened my belt. I can grind through a deadlift these days. It's kind of my MO, like it or not. me, like it or not, for me and my coach. And so I just started like kind of I was starting to lose my vision because my belt was so tight. So, you know, it's just, I figured I needed a tighter belt, and that was going to get me through the sticking point, and that wasn't quite it.
Speaking of coach, do you just want to give a shout out to your coaches?
Yeah, Mike Teixeira is my coach. I started working with Mike about 18 months ago. I was feeling like I didn't really know. I had there was a lot that happened. So I took second in 2019 in the 84 kilo class. I had seen a pretty flat like kind of performance over the last few years in my total, but I'm working so hard and I'm trying my hardest, right? I'm putting in all the effort and I wasn't seeing progress. And so I knew something needed to change with my approach. And Mike, I felt like Mike had some of the creativity that was going to get me an edge, right? Like the edge that I need after over 10 years of competing and now dropping a weight class. Like I knew that there was just a lot kind of playing against me. And so I hired Mike. And I truly think that like working with Mike has added like another decade to my career, just as far as like kind of training monotony is a piece of it, right? Kind of working around injuries, the creativity that he brings, it's amazing. And so I really like can't thank Mike enough. I don't think that if I hadn't hired Mike, I don't think I would be competing right now. Like I think I probably would have just hung it up. I was on the verge of that just due to back injuries and things that I kind of was piling up over the years. So yeah, I like owe so much to Mike.
That's amazing. And last question, just it's been a minute since you've been on a national platform, and just how did it feel just to be back, and do you feel like you're back now?
No.
I
felt like I had a mostly an out-of-body experience today. Like I wasn't really here. That will improve. I know it will. I just felt like so much like stimulation, and like it was just, there was so many inputs going like in my brain. So I'm happy to have had this experience and to be seasoned enough to not freak out when I'm feeling that nervous, and to be able to just be like, I'm really nervous. Like, you guys, I feel like this is my first time at nationals, and feel like I can kind of express that to the people around me, to my fellow competitors. I chilled out a lot when I started goofing around with Taylor and Kimmy. So that helped to just kind of open up and say like, I'm scared right now. Like I'm not feeling myself. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm me. I'm not quite there yet. In training I do. But yeah, on the platform I'm still a little shaky. I'm a little like Bambi.
That's funny because I actually felt like you had a little deer in the headlights kind of vibe going there for a minute. But then I'm like, but this is Natalie Hansen, you know? But congratulations once again, champ.
Thank you so much.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you perform at Worlds and just seeing you fully all the way back.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah, we can clap. All right. Now. All right.
Do I have to go like this, or do I go like this?
You can just stay right where you are, right there. Is that good, or you want
I'm nervous.
All right. We've got the reigning world champion, Kimmy Johnson. Congratulations on your huge performance today, national champion. And first thing, I just want to ask, how's it feel to win the national championship, and how did the day go for you?
Really good. It's really fun to be back here with back with the American team. I got to see my friends, which was like honestly the most exciting part of the day is like walking into weigh-ins and like Taylor's there, Natalie's there. I'm like, let's go, friends. And then I feel like after that starts, it's like a very settling start to the day. So then I get to like have fun and lift with them. And it's fun. We get to chat the whole time. No one's like this. Everyone's smiling. So it was a good day. Fun day.
So you missed your first squat, and then you came back and got all your lifts. Can you kind of talk about how maybe what you changed and how your mindset changed through the meet?
So I actually thought I got my first squat when I walked off. So I was like, oh man, when I got red lights and it was actually high, I was like caught off guard. But it makes sense. I probably cut the lift a little bit. Nerves. You're excited. It's a new surrounding. And then also I get wrapped by a friend back home. So being wrapped by an actual like world's team coach is like, oh my gosh, it's just like a different world, and you forget that until it's happening. I feel like every like year I black that out until it happens again, and you have to actually work harder to get down. So I remembered all that, and then I wasn't too nervous going into my second, but of course after you get your second squat in the meet, then it's like, okay, we're good. And then you get your first attempts on everything, and you're like, I'm legally done, and the rest is fun.
How did your training go heading into this?
How does what?
How did your training go?
Actually really well. I had a rough start because I actually got really sick. I just had the flu. I feel like there was so much flu and I was like throwing up a lot. So I lost a lot of weight in the beginning. So then I was like trying to eat and gain it back. And of course I like was too heavy this morning. But whoops. But training went really well. I had a rough start. I changed my programming a little bit to kind of cut back on the equipment. I'm realizing I'm getting older and I need less intensity every week, so I've been changing it up a little bit, and it felt really good. So I was really excited to go into the meet. I wasn't overworked, which is kind of cool.
What were your best training lifts, and how did they compare to today?
Honestly, my best training lifts were deadlifts, which kind of like you could see that, which shocked me. I really don't like going into deadlift days. I don't like it. I don't really like it at the meet that much. I drop it all the time. It's frustrating. But I did well in training, and I didn't do as heavy as I wanted to, but I didn't fail any lifts. So it was good. It was good. And then my bench was pretty rough in training, and I was a little nervous, but I PR'd. I did 150. It went really good. Handoffs were a little shaky in the beginning, but they got better as you like worked with your handoff. And my PR felt really smooth, and I'm excited to kind of go I want to go do more next week. I'm like, let me try a little more squat, a little more bench. Remax out.
Yeah. You are the reigning world champion in your weight class. Do you feel any amount of pressure or stress, like as the reigning world champion going back to Worlds this year?
Originally, after I won Worlds last year, I kind of had like a few weeks of like before I was back into training for anything in particular. I was like, wow, this is my like life goal, and I just hit it. Like, now what? But it's kind of fun because I took a step back and like regrouped and rethought through what my goals are. So it's kind of I feel like I have so much more to achieve now. I just have new goals. Like, I obviously want to win again and like hold that title, but I don't feel extra pressure because of it, because now I'm focused on other things. And honestly, realistically, when it comes down to actually going to the meet, like I do have these goals, but like my main thing is I want to have fun. Like, I don't get paid to do this. Like, this is just like something, like, I love the people, the community, the family. So every time I get too stressed about like these goals or not hitting them, I just step back and I remember, like, look at all these people I get to talk to in the week to help me with this one lift. Like, it's like a whole army behind me. So I'm not too stressed at all.
I know most people know this, but you're from a powerlifting family.
I am.
And your brother's about to compete, correct?
Yes. I'm actually, I think, more anxious for him than me.
I didn't see his name. Okay, so dad and brother are competing. Do you get competitive with them at all?
Yes. We are insanely competitive. We're kind of mean to each other, but with love. Like, we all have tough skin. We know that we're mean to each other, but we love each other. We support each other. Growing up, we would handle each other, so it's a fun environment. I feel like it's made us so much closer than I thought a family could be, because like you're like teammates and family. I love it, but I do get way more nervous for them because I'm like, I have no control, and I have to remember that I'm not in control, but I'm like, don't do that.
Are you going to be in the audience when they're competing, or are you helping?
You will hear me.
Okay.
You will hear me. I'll probably be back and forth, honestly. I'm like, I can't sit still. I'm like, I'll help you. I'll get you this. I'll also be cheering from the front. I'll be running everywhere.
Awesome. Thanks, Kimmy. Really appreciate your time. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was fun.